next guest, Goo, he was a great Portland Trailblazer.
The man.
1 year he averaged 18.5 points a game for Portland, but of course he's better known as a Warrior, better known as an outstanding Warrior TV and radio analyst. And it's a pleasure for me to speak to him once again, my former partner on Warriors Live, Jim Barnett with us. How are you, Jim? It's Whitey. Good to talk with you.
Whitey, it's good to hear from you, and happy to be on the show with you. And you're doing well, and I've always enjoyed listening to you. And, of course, I enjoyed that one season when we were together before each game at home. And Guru, doing a good job today as usual.
Thank you, Jim.
We'll see what's up. I know this. The Western Conference is crazy. It changes. I mean, the Warriors win one game, they go from 10th to 7th. So
yeah.
It's crazy. It's just we don't know what's going to happen. But the Warriors, in my estimation, they've been a 500 team all year long, even with Stephen Curry. Now Curry's missed the last 8 games, and they're 4-4, right with him. So it's hard for me to figure out this team. I expected more, but they've got to get healthy. They've got to get Curry back, and they've got to get Wiggins back and get Wiggins back into the shape that he was to start the season. He started the season, after 24 games. After 24 games, and the Warriors were 13-11. Wiggins was averaging a little over 19 a game, shooting over 51%, and shooting 45% from 3. And those numbers have significantly dropped 2 points a game. The shooting percentage is 47.3. He's under 40% from 3 now after being at 45. So they really miss him. And, he missed those 15 games earlier in the season. He's missing games now. And so the continuity is not there. So that's my sense of things. I'll answer any things that you guys have. But it's still hard for me to figure out this team because guys have been in and out of the lineup so much, and they've just been inconsistent.
Jim, before we get to tonight, obviously a hot topic remains James Wiseman, and he's put up some numbers with Detroit, 23-7 last night. And I just, not to put you on the spot, because I know it's a sensitive topic here in the Warriors. Who knows how this is going to go? What are any thoughts you can share with us about the trade, where James Wiseman is now, maybe why he appears to be putting up bigger numbers or is putting up bigger numbers than he did when he was with the Warriors?
Well, he's putting up bigger numbers now because he's playing.
Yeah, yeah.
No question about that. It's interesting. I will say this. The Warriors aren't very big. They're pretty small. I was surprised by the move. And I'm not sure I would have made the move had it been me, if I were the general manager or Steve Kerr and whatever. And I have not talked to them about this, but when you have someone who has that little experience, you're 21 years of age, he's barely played any games, certainly at this level, but even back in college and everything. And so he's inexperienced, young, started when he was 19, and he's 7 feet tall. And so, and you could see that, he was trying to learn the game, but he was always a step behind because it's going to take him time to catch up, and he's going to have to do the on-the-job experience, and the Warriors couldn't afford to put somebody in that is going to have to take a learning role and hurt the record. They're still competing because they are, believe it or not, it's hard to believe when you look at the team this year, but they are the defending NBA champions. As far as him, I thought he was a really nice kid. He was very courteous whenever I was around the team, and I do travel with him, of course, because I only do the road games with Tim Roy. But if it were up to me, I'd be afraid to give up a guy that's 7 feet tall and just turned 21 years of age. So I'm kind of torn with that. In particular, although Kevon Looney's having a heck of a year, he really is.
Yeah.
But still, he's only 6'7", and so you get hurt with guys when you have to play Embiid and players like that inside, and certainly when you're talking about bigger centers. Well, the best center in the league who plays for Denver, who's already had 22 triple doubles this year. I think they're 22-0 in those games. So down the road, we'll see how it works out. I wish him well because he's a nice kid.
Jim, this is from my dad, Norman Johnson. He's one of your favorites, but you're one of his favorites, and he misses you on TV, boy. And we catch you on the radio when we can. But not only do you break the game down, Jim, you break down the physical aspect of it because you played. So here I go. I am a big Jordan Poole fan. Disappointed is too strong, but I've seen many times this year, even in clutch, high leverage situations, he falls down like the balance is off. And when I found out we were having you on, I wanted to throw that to you. Have you noticed that, and what is that from? How can he improve that?
You know, it's funny because I've seen it, and I'm very tempted to look at his shoes and see because you know, I have to say the shoes we played in, the old Converse or the Nikes. Well, Nikes came on later. I never had a Nike, but the rubber came all the way up, and this goes way back. And I noticed when they started making shoes looking really cool and everything, the rubber was like 1/8 of an inch, and then it was synthetic. And when you are playing basketball, you get on the edge of your shoe a lot. You're making cuts. You're not running flat-footed and cutting flat-footed all the time. And so some of these shoes that have synthetic on the side really do you in. And I don't know. I've been meaning to look at his shoes. I haven't gotten the nerve to ask him yet. But he does fall a lot. And sometimes he's going a little too fast. Sometimes he'll, you know, at least he's gotten away from what I saw earlier in the year. He makes one dribble. He's dribbling the ball, and then he makes a move to the right. And then before he even sees and reacts to the player, the defender, what he's doing, he's already dribbling back one dribble. And sometimes he could have beaten his man right away. And I think he's doing that more now and being more demonstrative with us and going when he makes a move, he goes with it rather than waste time going back and forth, because he was doing that earlier in the year and it drove me nuts. But the shoes, I think, and I'll tell you one thing he does. If you watch this sometimes, because I used to do this, not many people do it, and it's dangerous. But when he's trying to beat two men down the middle or through the side, wherever it may be, he pushes the ball ahead and leaves it out there and runs to it. So he's not dribbling through them. He's pushing the ball ahead, and it's maybe, 4 or 5 feet in front of him, and then he runs to it without the ball in his hands, which is legal to do. It's a dangerous move. It's a little hectic maybe, but I used to do the same thing at times, and he gets away with it all the time. And so he's quick, and he gets to the basket, and he knows how to score inside. You know, I like him. He's inconsistent, and he's not having a great 3-point shooting year, and I wrote down lots of, I'm really happy about Klay and what he's doing lately. But Jordan Poole is just really struggling from 3-point range, in particular the month of February.
Great. Jim Barnett with us. And, of course, we got the Warriors and the Portland Trailblazers tonight on 95.7 The Game. I remember talking to Coach Kerr a couple weeks ago on Damon and Ratto, and I asked him when he first knew the defense was not what he thought it was. And he mentioned opening night, Jim. He said, opening night against the Lakers, a game the Warriors won easily, he said our transition defense broke down late in the game. The game was already decided, but he said he knew then, it's like, wow, something is wrong. What, to your eye, has been the biggest issue with the Warriors defensively? A far cry from what they were last year. I think defense was the foundation of the championships, and obviously there's time to correct some of these things, but what, to your eye, has been their biggest issue defensively so far this year?
Well, it seems to me that they're forgetting to block people off the boards, one little thing. But they're doing a lot of switching, and they get mixed up on who should guard who. And it's pretty chaotic. And they lose track of fundamental things and let people take open shots. I think sometimes on the weak side, when the ball swings around, they're over-helping.
I think we may have lost Jim.
Yeah.
Hello? Jim? Yeah, I think
he gets open shots. Hello?
Yeah, we lost you for a minute there, Jim, but I think we have you back, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was my Wi-Fi. Maybe my Wi-Fi went out for a while there. Had a bad quarter. Who knows? So, at any rate, I think they lose concentration, and they're giving they're allowing too many open shots, and maybe not switching well on the screens and whatever. I don't know the answer, but I do know this. Every time I look at the Warriors and their offensive things with points and rebounds and field goal percentage and turnovers, they're always at number 29 with turnovers. And they turn the ball over way too many times, and that's been a real problem this year, and they haven't been able to correct it.
Jim, I got to tell you, you mentioned Klay Thompson. He's hotter than a firecracker. And I'm telling Steiny, anybody that'll listen, okay, hey, I know he's not going to make every shot, but now I envision if they get in the playoffs, there's moments like he's done in the past to where you can draw that shot up for him. And there were some nights, Jim, I didn't think he was going to get back there. How shocked are you at what you're seeing from Klay? And does that make you confident that this team gets whole and healthy, that people aren't going to want to play him in a series?
I'm on a real positive vein right now with Klay Thompson, Guru. I agree with you. He's been magnificent. The last two games, obviously, the Minnesota game, he had 32. The game before that, Houston, he makes 12 threes and scores 42 in that game. Lost to the Lakers. He shot the ball well himself, 22. He's had a great February. And now he's playing back-to-back games. And so I think that's given him a boost of confidence as well. But he's just had a terrific second half of the season, since that All-Star break and what he's doing. I'm really happy for him because he works. The game means everything to him. He's really dedicated. There's no one more dedicated than Klay Thompson. And he's out there, and you can just see how earnest he is about things. And so I'm glad to see that because they need him. They need him especially right now without Curry in the lineup. Curry missing the last 8 games. And by the way, the Warriors were when Curry went out, his last game was against Dallas on February 4th. The Warriors were 27-26. Well, they're now 31-30. So
yeah.
they've gone 500 without him. But they need to get him back in. They need to get Wiggins. Wiggins is important to this club, and it's a perfect team for him because they can't double team him because you can't leave Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry open. And so he's always playing one-on-one, and one-on-one he can beat anybody. And so he's valuable here to this team, but it's also valuable to his career for him to stay here, I believe.
Jim Barnett. Jim, it's great to speak with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it very much.
Mm-hmm.